Hello everyone, this reading will be about Monique. Let me just say, because this is probably going to be a sensitive topic, that everything I say in this reading is for entertainment only. It's all allegedly. So yeah, let's get to the reading. So I'm curious, right? What's going on with this lady's mental health? You know, intuitively, I'm picking up all sorts of shit, but I want the cards to speak for itself. So let's see, what's going on with this lady mental health? Like, what is happening with that? You know what I mean? Like, what is going on as far as her mental stability? Like, what's going on with that? Because this lady, you know, she always plays the victim. It's always something going on with her. It's always some sort of problem. So I'm curious, like, what can we see regarding her mental health? And I get it. I get the struggle. You know what I mean? I get the injustice. You know what I mean? I so get it. Obviously, I'm black. But at the same time, it's kind of like this lady has basically made it into a pity party sort of like business of complaining and just being obnoxious as fuck. So let's see. This 10 of Swords is a deep energy, right? Because I was asking about her mental health. And this is funny that it's inverted, right? Because usually this speaks of like being betrayed, being backstabbed, right? But this shows a more complicated situation. You know what I mean? This is showing me, I'm not even going to lie to you guys, it's kind of like playing the victim. You know what I mean? Because it's like, normally this shows like, yeah, you've been backstabbed, you've been betrayed. But this lady, I don't know, this is showing me some bullshit. I'm going to be real. It's kind of like, you know, she's playing the victim. You know what I mean? It's kind of just like she can get up at any time. It's like she's stuck in this position, you know? Again, the 10 of Swords in reverse means that, like, yeah, there might be issues, because there's always issues with the 10 of Swords, right? But when it's, like, inverted, it speaks of making it more than what it really is. So I'm seeing her exaggerating the issues. Let's look further. This 4 of Swords, she's not at peace. She's definitely not at peace, right? Because this usually speaks of resting. But this gives a deeper insight because this is the altar of life. You know what I mean? So it's kind of just like she's in her feelings is what I'm seeing. I'm definitely seeing she's in her feelings. You know what I mean? She's not at rest because all she's seeing is conflict. You see these 3 swords next to this guy's head? It speaks of, like, only conflict being on your mind. You know what I mean? Not just that, if you look at this guy, this is a pitiful situation. This person is sulking. You know what I mean? This person is like all sad and shit. Again, it's like playing the victim. It is what it is. This 7 of Coins is very, very interesting, right? Because usually for me, when it's upright, it speaks of spiritual protection. It speaks of like, yo, I'm going to take my money. I'm going to get the fuck out of this situation. If you look at this visual, right? But if you see this situation, she doesn't require spiritual protection, you know? Usually this little bug speaks of spiritual protection because, you know, shit's going on. But the fact that it's inverted, again, it's showing me someone that doesn't require spiritual protection. You know what I mean? Not just that, I'm getting a vibe of burden. You know what I mean? She brings burden, like, to her. And it definitely has to do with money. You know what I mean? Let's look further. This is more interesting insight, right? Because this usually speaks when it's upright, right? It speaks of kind of like you coming out of trauma, you coming out of abuse, kind of like you feeling tired. You know what I mean? The 9 of Staffs, the 9 of Wands, it speaks of like a long fight. It speaks of issues, right? And it's kind of just like you're tired, you're trying to catch your breath. The fact that it's inverted is showing me it's not nothing here. There's no fights. There's no sort of like drama. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Like, definitely, like, if you don't understand this, like, look at the definitions of these cards. You know what I mean? The fact that it's inverted, it's showing me that it's no issues. It's no problems. It's kind of just like it's in her head, you know? That's why it's kind of just like, it's showing me a lot of shit. It's showing me a lot of shit. let me look further into this situation with this deck. Because it's showing me all this shit is in her head. You know what I mean? It's like she's playing the victim. She's always sad. Let's look further. Alright. I'm going to actually leave it on this particular card. It's funny that it went there. And again, it's sideways, so it's showing me something's off. Not just that, it came out face down. So it definitely has to do with her emotions. So guys, what did I tell you? That it's in her head, right? Her mental health isn't good. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm not going to pronounce this because I don't know how to pronounce it. But what this means is kind of just like when shit is in people's head. You know what I mean? When things isn't legit. You know what I mean? Definitely Google this word so you guys know I'm not just pulling this from my ass. The cards are definitely speaking here. It's kind of just like she takes an inch, right? And she makes it into a mile. So it's kind of showing me like, yeah, there's some shit going on, right? But this is showing me someone that exaggerates shit. You know what I mean? This is definitely showing me an exaggeration. Not just that, this also shows mental illness. Not just that, the source, right? It speaks of your core. It speaks of your personality. Her personality is always being sad. It's always an issue. Not just that, it's no rest. She looks for trauma. She looks for, and I didn't like misspeak. She actually looks for trauma, not even just drama. She looks for trauma. Like, you know what I mean? That's like who she is as a person. Because the source speaks of like your soul, your spirit, who you are. Who she is a person that doesn't have rest. Not just that, she's always looking for issues. You know what I mean? She's always looking sad, playing the victim and shit. Not just that, she celebrates when sort of just like people hear all this bullshit. It's kind of just like, she's like, yo, look at me. What was I telling you? For me, this card represents sort of just like spiritual protection, right? She's like, yo, I'm not being protected. Like, people aren't protecting me, all that sort of bullshit, right? And then she celebrates. But again, this is a weird celebration, right? Because it's raining. Who celebrates in the rain? Right? I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, that's not like a normal situation. So what I'm getting is I'm getting more mental illness. I'm going to be real. It's definitely something going on with mental illness here, for sure. Let me look further. So this speaks of usually like you coming out of challenges. This speaks of legit challenges, right? But when it's inverted, it speaks of the shit not being legit. This card is her emotion and it's not legit because it's sideways. So let's see what it is. Aloneness, you see this shit, right? This is her sort of like whole situation with her being like, yo, I'm alone. You know what I mean? No one's like trying to help me. Like, I'm always a victim. This is very deep. You know what I mean? This is very deep. Because again, it's not legit. She's not alone. She's not a victim. I'm not saying she didn't go through any issues. We all have went through issues, you know what I mean? Especially being melanated, we all have. From me, from everyone that's melanated, you know what I mean? We've been through shit, right? But this is showing me, again, the shit's not legit. It's not legit. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is. So now then, I'm going to look into sort of just like the money that she had received, you know what I mean? They said that the settlement was supposed to be big. So I want to see, like, was this settlement substantial? So let me see. Was this settlement substantial? What can we see regarding the settlement that she received from the whole Netflix situation? So let's see. What can we see? Was this a substantial situation? Let's see. Pull all the cards out. It came with restrictions. It definitely came with restrictions. I'm definitely seeing that. You know what I mean? With this devil here, we obviously know that people, you know, aren't really trying to work with her because of all this drama and issues. But what I'm seeing is, like, In the long term, because remember, the devil speaks of Capricorn energy. In the long term, like, it's not going to be a good situation. Not just that, again, it has to do with her not thinking straight. You know what I mean? You see all these, like, bottles of alcohol. It speaks of not being sober-minded. You know what I mean? Again, her mind. There's something not legit with her mind. This Page of Swords, this is an interesting Page of Swords. It kind of looks like, what card is that? It's a card, the Temperance. This definitely kind of resembles the Temperance card. You know what I mean? Kind of like putting together potions, seeing what works. This is totally her vibe. You know what I mean? She's kind of just like, yo, like, what's going to, like, get me this position? What's going to get me this money? You know what I mean? It's kind of just like she throws everything fucking at these sort of situations. I don't even know how to explain it because it's so stupid. But what I'm seeing is it's kind of showing me, like, there's no method to this situation. That's what I'm trying to say. There's no method to this situation. It's kind of like someone experimenting. You know what I mean? Monique is kind of like a Karen. She's just a black Karen. So what I'm seeing is it's kind of just like a Karen kind of just like doing the most. And it's kind of just like, okay, am I going to get my way this time? Am I not going to get my way? You know what I mean? It's that sort of vibe. I'm seeing the settlement was decent, right? I'm seeing the settlement was decent. You see how there's 2 pentacles here? So it's kind of just like, you know, usually with the Magician, I believe you only see like 1 pentacle. So this is showing me that the settlement was decent, right? But again, she wants more. She's not satisfied. So I don't know, like, you know, if it was like all crazy big. But again, she has a mental illness. So who knows, right? Because for all we know, it could be like millions of dollars and shit, right? And for like the average person, that would be a shit ton of money. But let's just say if she got 5 million, she's probably just like, yo, I don't like it. I want it 50 million. You know what I mean? It's that sort of situation. Not just that, I don't know the terms of this settlement, but it's showing me it wasn't in her favor. You know, it wasn't in her favor, not in the short term and not in the long term. So, I mean, hey, it is what it is, right? I'm curious now. What's going on in her life in general? What can I see regarding her life in general? Guys, definitely tell me what you thought of this reading. You know what I mean? Like, if it resonated with you guys and how you feel about it, you know. Again, I'm not trying to offend anyone. This is funny. This is triumph, right? But it's sideways. So she's not happy. She's definitely not happy. You know what I mean? I guess it relates to her settlement, I'm assuming. Obviously, we're looking into the energies. I didn't ask any real questions. I'm just asking, like, what's going on with her life in general. So let's see what's going on with this lady. So again, this speaks for itself. She's not happy with her settlement. You know what I mean? Yeah, this speaks of winning and shit and victory. You know what I mean? Achievement, success. But she doesn't feel that way. The card is sideways. So it's like she doesn't feel too great about it. Yes, she won, but she's not feeling too great. Imagination. I know this is a playful energy, right? It's kind of like an innocent card. It's a real beautiful card. This is actually my favorite card in this deck, actually. But, you know, we got to go with the image, the imagery, and the energy, right? It's an immature situation going on with her. And I was picking it up earlier with, like, that Page of Swords. I believe it came up with this deck, if I'm right. And I was picking up an immature energy, but I wasn't just trying to, like, say a lot of shit, because I was picking up all sorts of energy, but it keeps popping up. It's like her imagination is off. Not just that, she is immature. And it's funny because she tries to, like, dictate shit to people, like telling, like, black females you can't wear this on your head and you gotta be presentable. It's a ton of, like, condescending, unnecessary energy. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm gonna look into that next. But again, it has to do with her mind. You know what I mean? Your imagination has to do with your mind. You know what I mean? It's a situation of fantasy. You see this shit? The mind. I didn't even know that the mind was going to be there. That's funny. But you see the mind, the fantasy. It's an immature mind that she has. Not just that, she's caught up in illusion. This dog energy is deep, right? She's a ruthless person. You know, I know that dog speaks of like loyalty normally, but to be honest, that's kind of like a misconception because dogs, they're not loyal, actually. It's kind of just like if you give a random dog like water, food, you know what I mean? That dog, you know what I mean? He's going to be loyal to you, you know what I mean? For the most part. So it's kind of just like, I don't know. It's not looking too good as well because you see this bone. Bones represent the past. She's still looking for shit. You see this knife represents sort of like you thinking, like knives and swords represent the mind, right? For her, this is showing me a ruthlessness. Not just that, she's looking as far as like the past and shit. Old bones. She's trying to dig up bones. If she know any secrets, sort of like any sort of like issues from the past, she's gonna like bring that shit up. You know what I mean? That's how like she tries to triumph. Let's look further. Blind, she don't know what the fuck's going on. Again, this relates to her mental health. I was telling you she has issues with her mental health, right? And it's funny that people even take her serious. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that like she can't put things together or anything like that, but it's showing me a strong sort of like energy of mental health issues is what I'm picking up. I mean, I'm pretty sure like we encountered that in our lives. Like for me, like in elementary, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like the lunch lady was like sick and shit, like mentally ill, but she has a job. It's that sort of situation. Like everyone knows people like that. Like where like a person can be bitter, have mental health issues, but it doesn't mean that they can't live like a normal life. You know what I mean? So what I'm seeing is, again, more mental issues. Not just that, it's kind of just like she's operating blind. You know what I mean? Not just that, she don't really like plan for shit. You see with this, sorry, cards are so small that sometimes like it doesn't zoom in. You see how this says vision problems? Sorry if you guys can't see it. Yeah, I'm not gonna just sit and like try to like basically like let that little shit pop up. But it says vision problems, right? So it's like she doesn't, yeah, she plots and schemes, right? But she doesn't look at the long-term sort of consequences, you know what I mean? And that's because of the vision problems, the mental health issues. Let me look deeper into this situation. What else can I see regarding her and sort of just like her whole shit? Right. So let's see what else is going on. The high priestess. This is really deep, right? How am I going to explain this? Because this shit is really deep. Because it's showing me there's definitely an agenda, right? She's being used as a tool. I'm going to be real. She's definitely being used as a tool. And it's giving me multiple messages. It's kind of just like with this 2 here. It's giving me a vibe of like, yeah, she's aware of it. But then again, she's not aware of it. You know what I mean? And then that's kind of like why she's triumphing as well. You know what I mean? Because it's like, she is kind of like winning when you think about it. You know, she just won a settlement. You know, yeah, she says that like, she's been blackballed and like no one doesn't want to deal with her or anything like that. But if you really ask yourself, like, has this lady really been blackballed? Like, you always hear her in the news. People are always talking about her. I mean, yeah, she might not be like working with a ton of people and shit, but she's definitely relevant. Usually in Hollywood, when you're blackballed, like people, they're just not fucking with you. You know what I mean? So it's giving deeper insight. What I'm seeing is, I'm seeing some spiritual ramifications for sure. The high priestess speaks of like spirituality, right? Spiritual situations. Yeah, this card by itself usually is positive, right? But it's kind of like she's out here acting on a script. You see this scroll that this high priestess has in her hand? It's kind of just like, she's following a script. I don't know if that script is to be like just the obnoxious, like stereotype of what people say, you know what I mean? But there's something going on with this for sure, because I definitely see her following a script for sure. Let's look further. This Justice, yeah, she's following a script, but she does believe this shit. Her mind is so warped that she does believe like this is her form of justice. So, I mean, again, it speaks to the whole mental situation, because she really believes this shit. She believes that, like, this is how, like, justice needs to be enacted. You know what I mean? She feels like she's enacting justice. But really, it's fantasy. You know what I mean? It's in her mind. It's imagination. It's not legit. Let's look further. This Emperor, this is a masculine energy. This is like the actual like most masculine energy of like the whole deck. So for her, I mean, I don't know. This is showing me some deep shit, guys. This is definitely showing me some deep shit. Because I was telling you, it's kind of just like she's trying to dig up old bones, right? And that's kind of like where her mind's at. The Emperor speaks of structure. So it's kind of showing me deeper shit, deeper insight. It's structure to this, guys. You know, it's kind of hard to explain because this is tarot and shit. Like, the cards can't necessarily explain everything. But I'm going to be real. She does have a backing. You know what I mean? She definitely does have a backing, because it's kind of just like, it's structure to this. This shit isn't just at random. If you really think about it, right? What person will really go to court against like Netflix and actually win? You know what I mean? Like, what normal person, right? We know how this road is. Like, let's not like play stupid and believe that shit's fair and shit is decent, right? We gotta be real. So I'm seeing there's definitely some structure behind the fucking scenes. You know what I mean? Again, she is enacting out some sort of agenda. I mean, fucking look at the movie she did, Precious. I mean, that movie was like the most a vile abomination. Like, one of the most horrible, like, I wouldn't even call that a movie. That was just propaganda and sickness, right? So again, it's like, is she being rewarded for that sort of gross behavior? You know what I mean? Because it's showing me there's definitely some structure with this situation. I'm definitely seeing structure. Let's look deeper. This King of, I was going to say King of Cups. This King of Pentacles. This is some deep energy. This is definitely some deep energy. I'm seeing shady shit. I'm definitely seeing some shady shit. You know what I mean? Not just that, the cards that are out are some powerful cards, right? When we talk about the High Priestess, you know, Justice, the Emperor. These are the majors, right? It's some shit going on that's major, guys. There's definitely some shit going on that's major as far as this Monique situation. You know, it's definitely showing me some shit. And I mean, the King of Coins, like, the King of Coins can normally be ruthless anyway. I mean, he didn't become the King of Coins by being a little bitch, by being soft. You know what I mean? But when it's in reverse, it can speak of insecurity. Not just that, it can speak of being even, like, more sort of, like, ruthless. So it's kind of just like, what I'm seeing, I'm going to be real, business bosses, like people behind the scenes, people in the industry, they're using this lady because she's blind. She can't see. You know what I mean? She has a sickness. It is what it is. And so they're exploiting her. It is what it is. They're definitely exploiting her. I'm going to leave it here, guys. You know, definitely tell me what you thought of this reading. Most definitely. Also, press the thumbs up button if you made it this far. Thank you very much. Take care.